That's right, folks, I'm Gandalf's younger brother. And as you can see, he got all the hair, but I got all the good looks. Oh.
Clearly.
That's Mrs. Hobbit. This bus here is Gandalf the White, and because he's old, he's run on rubber bands. So use a couple of key words, folks. When I say green dragon, I need you to make as much noise as possible. And also when I say the word free, I want you to make as much noise as possible. Let's see if we can scare these people at the table, okay? Righty. Green dragon!
Woo! Yeah! Alright.
You don't allow two, they've been on my bus before.
Did you pay them?
Rightio, folks, welcome to the Alexander family farm. Right, must be getting late today. Depending on where you're from. Now, as you can see up to the right hand side, you will see some sheep. We've got a couple lying around the place. Yeah, 12,500 of them.
Nice.
They are known as the New Zealand Romley breed of sheep. Romley, that's right. Be like somebody else on the bus the other day. Are they wobbly truck and trailers? Now these truckers trailers would travel up and down this road twice a day during filming, and they would weigh anywhere between 40 and 50 tonnes. Now, the contract between the Alexander family and New Line Cinemas was that New Line Cinemas could come in, they could build their set, they could film their set, but then they'd have to rip it all back down again. Now, halfway through ripping everything down, we had ourselves a wee bit of a storm here in New Zealand, something we like to call winter, and it did make it very unsafe for these guys to carry on working. Now, we suggested they go on holiday and come back when the weather is a lot better. So they were happy to do that. But before I go on a little further, if we look out there to the right, that's Big Mac, our biggest, angriest Black Angus bull. He's friendly, is he? Yeah, sure. Don't mind being here, sucker. He's friendly. Now, folks, all these guys were out on holiday. Some of our lovely locals had seen the Fellowship of the Rings, recognised some of the scenery, and decided that they wanted to come out and have a look and see what we've been doing.
Of course.
So in 2002 we had our first tour. Now the first tour was 4 people in a minivan, and they came out to see 17 Hobbit holes. Now these Hobbit holes were made of polystyrene, plastic and plywood, and looked very similar to oversized old kennels. Basically what it was, folks, was a hole in the side of the hill with a strip of polystyrene around the outside. Now what they used that polystyrene for was to stick all the pieces on that made it look like a Hobbit hole. So of course when they started pulling everything down, they were the first things to come off. But you guys are very, very lucky, as Mr. Jackson decided to come back and film The Hobbit. He also decided that he would build everything to more of a permanent standard and make it so that he could use it for his filming, and then we could use it later on for our lovely travellers. So today, 44 Hobbit holes, a couple of fantastic buildings, and an awesome bridge. So as we start looking up to the right hand side, folks, we will see a fence there in the clearing, then the barrel. The next thing we'll see is the thatch roof of our lovely water mill house.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! And the next thing is our beautiful double arch stone bridge. And of course the big building on the right hand side, folks, well, that's the Green Dragon! Awesome! Absolutely! Get on a big sook. Rightio, folks, when you get down to the pub later on today, waiting for you will be a nice, cold, free refreshment!
Free!
You know, I'll just be happy with that free word. Pretty there, yeah? And the beer is a black ale, an amber ale, or an apple cider, or for my Australian friends, a stout, a lager, and apple cider. I know you're going to take the mineral water. You drink too much, you will end up with very hairy feet. And kittens. Now, out here to the right, folks, the shed and car park was known as the technical car park during filming. Now, this is where all the Hobbit holes were built, and also some of the furniture that you'll see around the Hobbit holes today. Now, once it was all built up here, it was carried down to the set by hand and placed into place. But as you can see now, it is the home of our lovely greenkeepers and maintenance crew. Now, out here to the left, this beautiful empty paddock between the bus and the fence line was known as Animal Kingdom. This is where we had over 28 different species of animals: horses, cows, goats, pigs, rodents, an American eagle, and also some very, very special sheep. These sheep were known as our stunt sheep. 12,500 sheep on the farm during filming. Not one of them made it into any of the films. Peter Jackson thought our sheep were too modern looking, so he imported 29 black-faced and black-footed Suffolk sheep from England. Now the eagle was there to chase after any of the rodents or anything like that that decided to escape, so they didn't normally make it back, but if they were big enough, they'd be chased back by the eagle. His name was Arnie, and we call him Arnie the Terminator. And also some of the big stars had their dressing rooms down here. That's Benji. Hey Benji. Now if you guys were hobbits in any of the films, 300 for Lord of the Rings, 70 for The Hobbit, you would be in a makeup tent for just over 2 hours, putting on your hairy feet and your pointy ears.
Hard work.
Now that didn't matter if you're as close as Dan is to me, to the camera, or way over there on top of the hill. You still have to be in full costume and ready for action. So as we come round here, folks, if we look out to the left, another perfect reason that Peter Jackson chose this beautiful farm, untouched, undisturbed landscape.
Yeah.
Now during filming there were no buildings, power lines, power poles,
Right.
anything of a modern nature out there whatsoever. So he could take as many scenery shots as he wanted to without having to cut anything out of the film. Now we have one very, very important question. What is it? Oh, that's right. Get on my bus, you should know. Are we here for a good time?
Yeah.
Alright. Now the best way to do that, folks, is to stick with Dan. Now Dan has just finished a very intense orc warfare training camp, so he knows how to protect you all from the orcs. Did you have any orphanages on board? Get it? He also knows where all the good photo opportunities are. He knows all the good stories, and he also knows if we come along Hobbit holes, he'll open up for you guys to have a look at. Now the other reason we need you to stick with Dan is the hillside at the moment, folks, is covered in rabbit holes. And we don't want anybody falling down a rabbit hole. You know what happens if you fall down a rabbit hole? You will end up in the wrong movie. And there is no bus coming back from Alice in Wonderland, folks. So, the other reason, folks, the fence around the place, it's got electric wire running through it. And we don't want anybody touching the electric fence because it is on and it will bite. And also, just before you get off the bus, please check your seats and make sure that you take everything with you. Sunglasses, cameras, wallets,